Hi everyone, this is Melissa. I go by Stitching Liz here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. I hope you will follow me in both places. I'd love to make new friends. Thank you for joining me, and if you've been here before, thanks for coming back, and if you're new, welcome. It's good to have you all. I'm going to talk today about how my May ended, what things I worked on, and talk a little bit about my June plans. So, as you know, for May, I did Moody May, where I stitched things that I was in the mood to stitch. I had a flow chart that I worked with to decide what my mood was and also what kind of qualities of a project I was looking for. And I have a vlog of the beginning of May that I did at the beginning of the month to show you how I was working through Moody May. So for the last couple of weeks, I have been stitching and working on things that I was in the mood to work on. And I was in the mood to work on more than just stitching. So I'm going to show you something else I worked on too. I'm pretty excited about it. But first, I'd like to show you a couple of finishes. One is actually my April Earth Day finish. I never showed you that I did finish the Gaia by Quaternion Creations, and this is what it turned out to look like in the end. This is on fabric that is by a dyer that no longer dyes, fabrics by LJ. I've had it for years. It was in my stash, and I just used DMC 310. I really like it. I think it's so pretty. It makes me happy to look at. And I was happy to be able to participate in the Earth Day collaboration that the Stitchers Collective did, where they raised money. They raised a lot of money for different organizations related to helping the earth. So that was one finish that I wanted to show you. And then later in May, I was in the mood to work on something seasonal, which I often am in the mood to work on something seasonal, which is why my WIPGO board this year is a seasonal WIPGO board. I have projects for each of the seasons that are mostly part of series. So there's usually a winter, spring, summer, fall element to the different series that I'm working on. And I do my WIPGO a little weird. I like to stitch the season that I'm in. So even if Jessie Marie calls a number, I don't always do that number. I do the season, and then when the number gets called, I mark it off on my WIPGO board that I've done it. So I have to wait until I've done it and it gets called for it to get marked off on my WIPGO board. So we're in spring, and so one of the series I'm working on is Lizzie Kate's 4 Seasons, and this is the spring one. And this is my finish of it. I used the DMC conversion that was on the chart, and I don't know if you can see, but these are little buttons that came with the chart, and I put them on with a beading needle because the holes are super tiny. They're very tiny buttons. The fabric is a 16 count parchment, probably by Witchelt. I felt like it was a really good color. The sheep are so cute. I thought it was so funny, like, that the birds are so much bigger than the sheep. These look like attack birds, like dinosaur birds or something, but I still love the whole chart. The grass took me hours. It took me forever. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but it is a lot of grass. And it took me forever to stitch it, but I got it done. So that's Lizzie Seasons, Four Seasons, Lizzie Kate's Four Seasons Spring. And I was in the mood to stitch that. So the other thing that I was in the mood for is that I have been absolutely dying to learn how to do a granny stripe crochet blanket. I've done granny squares, I've done other stitches, I've made all kinds of things. If you saw my Moody May tag, in the mood tag, you could see that I've done a lot of different crafts, and crochet is one of them. But I've never done a granny stripe blanket. And I really wanted to learn. And I have a YouTube person that I follow, Bella Coco. She's Bella Coco Crochet, I believe. And she has lots of tutorials, and I've followed them before and I've been very successful with them. So she has one on a granny stripe blanket. So I figured I would give it a try because I was really in the mood for it. So I went to Michael's and they had yarn on sale, and I decided I would do like an ombre effect. And I picked out these 3 colors. This one is, the yarn is Impeccable brand. And this color is Skylight. So that's the lightest color. The next color is Aqua. And the last color is Teal. So these 3. Now I only started out buying 6 skeins. And what I realized as I was stitching is that I made my blanket super wide. And so that meant with only 6 skeins, it was going to be super short. And I wasn't really happy with that. So I wound up buying a couple of more skeins. I bought 4 more skeins. So the blanket is going to be light, medium, dark in the middle, and then go back medium, light on the other end. I am up to the middle of the blanket, and I haven't sewn in my ends yet. Don't judge me. So this is the middle. You can see I've got my stripes, and it goes to the lighter color and then the lightest color. And this is folded in half. So this is half of it. And this is the middle of the length. So I've been having a lot of fun with this. It moves super fast. I really enjoy it. I think I would definitely make another one. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to crochet next because I'm having so much fun with this that I want to crochet something again. But I'm going to try and finish this first before I move on to anything else. So I was in the mood for that, and it really brought me a lot of joy so far. So. All right, so now I'm going to show you some things that I'm currently working on in my stitching. And one of those things is my temperature record. This is the temperature record. It's by Zara Design Studio. It will look like a big heart, and it's made up of little hearts. I picked my own colors and made up my own temperature chart for this, based on last year's temperatures in our area. And this is what it looks like so far. I'm on the 3rd row. Today is my day to catch up. So I have 7 more days that I can add to this. So far, I think it's looking very cute. We've got some hot days. It's interesting the way it's charted. You don't go in rows, you go around. So it's basically working its way into the center. So you can't look across and know what the temperatures were. That's the only thing that I think is confusing, is that this wasn't like the temperature of several consecutive days. This was. So I think that's interesting about it, but it makes it fun to work on. I like working in that direction. So this is temperature record. It's Heart's temperature record by Zara Design Studio. I am also working on a sal. I am a patron of Liz Matthews on her Patreon. She calls it her membership. If you ever hear her refer to her membership, it's a Patreon. And she's doing a sal with her Hello Forest sampler. I have a picture of it, but it's black and white because I printed it in black and white. This is what it looks like. Forest sampler. It's the Hello Forest Sampler Sal, hashtag. And basically the gist of it, without kind of violating the Patreon code of, you know, telling you things when you're not a patron, is that we're making a collage with pieces of the sampler. So different motifs from the sampler are going to be made into a collage of your own choosing. So what you had to do first was decide on scraps of fabric. So like, for example, these are all scraps from previous projects. They all kind of match and go together. They're all neutral. That's what I decided to use anyway. And then she gives you prompts in the group, and you can stitch based on her prompts. So far I have stitched some trees and one other motif. I am behind in the sal, but so far this is what I've stitched. Here's one tree. There's this tree. This one's so weird. I love it. And there's this tree. And then the motif I did, Liz said this is a rabbit. I don't know. It doesn't really look like a rabbit to me, but a rabbit with a little tiny tree. And that's what I've stitched so far. There's going to be several more pieces to it. And I'm going to be working on that as much as I can when I feel in the mood to do it. Right now, I'm kind of in the mood for it, so I'm enjoying that. I think the sal ends in June. And if you're interested in learning more about it, you can go to Liz's Patreon and you can either sign up or learn more about it there. But I'm looking forward to maybe fully finishing this. If I can catch up and do it and fully finish it, I will be so excited. So that's what's been going on for me at the end of April and during May. I made a purchase of a chart, and I would like to perhaps stitch this coming up soon. It's a Biscornu, Dragonfly Biscornu by Curious Carrie on Etsy. I think I have a fabric that I can use by XJU Designs. And I might change the colors of the dragonfly to purples, I think. And this is the back, and you can see there's a pink flower on the lily pad. I might make one of these white flowers pink, because I like that look of that pink. Carrie doesn't call for it in her DMC requirements for the chart, but she did use an étoile for the bottom wings, so I might use étoile for the wings. I do have étoile. I have to see what looks good to me. So I got this on Etsy, and I'd like to stitch that. And then the other thing that I'm thinking of doing for June is I saw a post on Instagram by the Giddy Stitcher, Michelle, and she was saying how she did 24 hours of cross stitch, but she decided that she didn't do it all in one weekend. She put 24 hours of stitching into, I think, 2 different projects over the course of however long it took her to get to 24 hours. I've never done the 24 hours of cross stitch because I was way too intimidated. There's just no way I could do 24 hours of cross stitching in a weekend. So I never even tried. Like, I was like, this is just pointless. I'm not even gonna try. I know people do it and don't get to 24 hours, so I don't know why I felt like if I tried to do it, I'd have to commit to 24 hours. But there was something about it that I just was like, I can't do this. So I really like the idea of just trying to get 24 hours into a project. And I have been thinking about this whip of mine. I worked on it in March for Major Whips March. And it's been weighing heavily on me. I've had this whip for almost as long as I've been stitching. And it's very difficult for me to work on. You probably, if you've been watching me, know which one I'm talking about. It's in this book, Ultimate Cross Stitch Projects by Maria Diaz. And it's this project, La Scapigliata. And I would like to, in June, put 24 hours into this. I'm going to show you where it is to start with. It's very wrinkly, sorry. So this is where I would be starting out. I just want to see if I can get some progress on this. And so I was thinking of trying to put 24 hours into it in the month of June. I don't know if I'll be able to get to it. I don't want to not work on other things that I really want to work on, like the Hello Forest Sampler Sal and the Biscornu. But I would really like to put some work into this and see if I can get it pushed further towards being finished. So I am going to attempt to do that. So thank you, Michelle, for that idea. I really like that idea. All right, so that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a very great stitching month and that you're doing well. And I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.